So hello there, my name's Dave the Metro and welcome to the video. And in this video I'll be looking at the 2022 Thomas the Tank Engine range, some of the new releases. So first off here we've got Thomas, Dulux, Thomas and the Troublesome Trucks, and then Thomas Vanny and Clarabelle. And I think definitely the Troublesome Truck set I'll be quite tempted to get maybe at some point. I haven't actually got the Bachmann Thomas yet. And then here on the next page we've got it's got Thomas Saves Santa's Sleigh, and basically it's Thomas with Santa's sleigh, and then the flat truck's been modified, it comes with a sleigh, and then it's also got a brake van which is very similar to Toad, but repainted to look more festive. And I'm assuming it's based upon the episode Santa's Little Engine, which was actually one that I quite liked. And then here as well, it says about Thomas with his DCC with sounds, and Percy as well. And then Thomas in his original green type livery. And I have actually got Percy in the Bachmann range. Part of the reason I actually got that was because I thought that he looks a lot better in that one. But also I tend to find myself buying mainly the engines and the rolling stock in that I never got in Hornby. Obviously Hornby's unfortunately been discontinued. But I got ones like Percy and that, and Bill and Ben and Toby, because I felt they were better. And then if obviously you go on to the next page, you've got say Bill and Ben, Toby, and then also say the regular sort of ones like Mavis and Rosie as well. And so they've got Rosie there in her old livery, which I've got, and the red one which is on the next page. And there, one of the new ones is Origin James, which is James again in his original black colour, because he was painted black when he first come to the island, Sodor. So no real change there, really. Looks like they're still doing all the other ones, and like I said, they're doing Rosie in both colours. And if you look on the next page, you obviously got Rosie in a red newer livery that she got given. And on it, it says you've got the express coaches coming out with red on them. I've actually got these in Hornby. I don't know if I'm going to get these ones or not. I might be tempted to. And then it says Daisy there, and obviously last year in the catalogue it showed Daisy, but it was just her animation, whereas now the actual model's out. Although it doesn't seem to have been released over here yet, but hopefully it will do soon. I want to get that. And then next to Daisy is Ryan, who actually she works with on the branch line to Harwick. And Ryan was one of my favourite ones, so one that I'm quite happy to get. And next to Ryan you've got Salty, and Salty was discontinued. I think it was around 2015, 2016. That's what's in the wiki page. And I'm surprised they actually got rid of Salty, because in my opinion he was one of the main characters ever since he debuted in Series 6. So I was quite surprised. And on there as well, you've got Toby's museum coaches. They don't say new to them anymore. Last year they said new next to them, it was just prototype, but now they show the actual ones. And I got them for Christmas. And like I said, I'm quite surprised that they actually brought that out, because, as I said, they're from the model series of the show, whereas I felt like Bachmann was focusing more towards the CGI animated series, and they've never been in the CGI animated series. And again, looking at Daisy's model, it's more what she looks like in the CGI animated series. And she was one of my favourite characters, and like I said, one of my favourite stories of Daisy was Bullseyes. Like I said, she was one of my favourite characters, so I'm really, really excited to get that one. Then if you look on the next page here, you've got all the rolling stock. On the right hand page in the bottom corner it says new next to the tanker and the 3 flatbed trucks, which surprises me because they were all brought out last year. So in my opinion they're not really that new now, to be honest with you. So I'm surprised they put new next to them, although I think the purple wagon was brought out towards the end of last year, so I suppose yes, it is fairly new. It is one that I hope to get. But there is a new one in the bottom right hand corner. On the second page, the van with the explosives, and I'm assuming that's like the fireworks, like what James has pulled in the past. Then if we move on to the next page, we've got the narrow gauge engines. Now these are in the 009 range, and it shows Peter Sam's model at last. Obviously last year that was just his animated model, just a prototype. But Peter Sam was one of my favourite ones, and again it does look like what Peter Sam looked like in the CGI series. And then next to Peter Sam we've got Rheneas' yellow model, and above his yellow model is his actual orange one, which I've actually got already. So 3 along the top, Scarlett, Renouse and Rusty I've already got, but Renouse was painted yellow for a short period of time, and it's not very often I get characters like James, for example, who had his Busy Bee livery. I'm not always as interested in them, but I do actually think the yellow Renouse looks quite nice. I'd be tempted to get that, but I'd rather get one of the ones that I hadn't got, like Peter Sam or Sir Handel first. So as you can see, I've got Sir Handel on there. So at the minute, there's not actually been a model made of him, but it's his CGI model. And it'll be interesting when they actually bring it out, will it actually have the grey buffers? Because you can see Sir Handel has grey buffers. Now in the TV series, when he was brought back in the model series with a larger model than what he had originally, like I say, his buffers are painted black for a short period of time, but as he come back in the CGI series, they're painted grey again. And I said before, I thought it was weird, because obviously you had Scarlett, he brought out first, then Renouse, obviously Engines 1 and 2. But then you went to Rusty, which is 5, then to Peter Sam, which is 4, and then now to Sir Handel, which is 3. So the numbers are a bit backwards how they've released them, but at the same time, I do really like Rusty, so I'm glad they brought him out. I think for the others, but I'd say I think Peter Sam's the one I'm most looking forward to, and definitely sort of Sir Handel. It's sort of like a cross between them. I'm most forward to. So on the next page, you've got the rolling stock, the narrow gauge engines. In the bottom of the second page, it shows the Blue Mountain Quarry slate wagons. And you've got green ones, brown ones and red ones, and you can see them here in the CGI series, a couple up behind Rusty. And these trucks have really been, say, prominent since the CGI series. And then above you've got the red and the blue ones, which again are more from the model series of the show. Look forward to seeing them when they're out. Then we go on to the next page, and apart from Tidmouth Sheds in the top, there are not any new ones. I'm not too sure if I would get the Tidmouth Shed one or not, to be honest. And the thing with the Tidmouth Shed ones is I've noticed the sheds look like what they look like more brickwork and that from Cornwall engines, but it's only got 5 engine berths, whereas it's actually got 7 in the TV series. And then also they've said that they're going to be bringing out some new people figures. So you've got Farmer Trotter, Mr. Percival and his wife, and then Farmer McColl. Farmer McColl I've actually got already. You've probably seen another video. And you've also, it says it's going to have his sheepdog and sheep, so that'd be interesting. And you've got the teacher with the school children, and in the top right hand corner it says railway personnel, and that's actually a photo from the episode Long Lost Friends, Gator's driver, as you can see here. And I've always thought the railway personnel were more, obviously, the bodyguards that the Fat Controller used to have with him, and also driving his car for him as well at times. But yeah, that looks quite interesting to see, and it says obviously the Hat family as well, HO scale. So I think it'll be interesting to see, but in my opinion, they should actually be smaller than the engines, not bigger, because otherwise it looks a bit odd. Because that's normally the problem I find with the figures, is that they're bigger than the engines, and really they should be smaller. But that's my personal opinion, but we'll wait and see. It says they're going to be HO scale, so I think that'll be interesting to see. And if I think they're only good, I'll get them. But like I said, I do have the Farmer McColl one already. I got it from the shop on the Isle of Wight. Then we've got the N scale Thomas, which I don't really do N gauge. I mean, I've got the 009 narrow gauge engines, but that's because you can only get the narrow gauge engines in 009, which is why I sort of went to it. But I'm not sure if I'll buy the N scale ones, but they are nice to look at. So it says they're bringing out Emily, Toby and James. And Toby and James, from what I remember, were actually on there last year. And then it says you've got Emily's coaches as well. Again, it shows 2 more on the next page, 2 more N-gauge sets you can get. So you've got Percy and the Troublesome Trucks and Thompson and the Troublesome Trucks. So I think they'll all be interesting to see. And going back to the narrow gauge ones, all the Scarlett engines are based upon the engines on the Talcum Railway in Wales. And Sir Handel, who's coming out, I've seen his basis before, Sir Hayden, and I've actually got a friend called Hayden, but it's spelled Hayden. Whereas obviously Sir Hayden, the engine, doesn't have an E in it. But also my friend, is funny enough, he's got a cat called Rosie, which is one of the engines. One of them guinea pigs that they've got. And I used to have a guinea pig called Daisy, which is obviously one of the engines. And they've also said they've got a cat called Rosie as well, my friend. So, and also he did say to me that he'd be interested if in the narrow gauge range they bought an the model of Duke out. I would as well, although like I said, I doubt it. But at the same time, like I said, they brought out Toby's museum coach into the Bachmann range. So be interesting to see, I think. Just remains to be seen. But yeah, overall, I'm looking forward to some of the new ones that are coming out in Bachmann. And I'm glad that Bachmann are doing them. Obviously, Hornby don't do them anymore. And I do like some of the Hornby models, but I do think that Bachmann pretty much always do a superb job and get great detail on that overall. Nearly forgot to mention as well is the G-scale range. I do really like the G-scale range. The only one I've actually got is Winston in the Thomas range at the minute, but I do hope to get more. But in the bottom corner of this page, you can see Mr. Jolly's Chocolate Factory van. That looks quite nice, and the Brendan Bay one. And it'd be nice to get the Mr. Jolly's one, I think. That looks interesting. And also the tankers as well. It also says that they're releasing the red branch line coaches, and looking at the prototype, the brake one's actually got a lamp on the back, which I think looks quite good. And to my knowledge, I've got it in the HO range, the smaller scale ones, and it doesn't actually have a lamp on the back, so that's interesting. And obviously you've got Diesel and Paxton there as well, and say Winston, which I've already got, and Toby, one of my favourite ones. It'd be nice if they did Henrietta as well. And again, you've got Thomas, Percy, James and Emily as well in that range, so pretty much the same engines, but going into the N scale range as well, which is okay. But anyway, yeah, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.